informalization concept. Now, what is this informalization? In this, we have to see formal sector employment and informal sector employment. Okay, so see here, employment may broadly be classified as formal sector and informal sector. Okay, ta laga chigorwa laga chiti kabla sector ni yore formal sector, informal sector. Okay, formal sector tila mean sheba. We can also call it as organized sector. Tila organized sector lapshine digore and informal tila unorganized sector. Lapshine digore. Okay, now we need to see the difference between these two. Formal sector Labdi Kabla refers to organized sector of the economy. So formal sector tila organized sector labing kudwa. Now dinangole it includes all government departments, public enterprises and private establishments which hire 10 or more workers. The formal sector nangole wa shungi departments che dinanshi shungi enterprises che roba shungi enterprises labing dukabla production unit chadi gorwa. Say for example factory company dinsurikirwa which is under the control of government. So public enterprises and private establishments and private gitsushaido roba enterprises kandis chiyana din nanglo le kunzuki workers kazu hire chigitu 10 or more workers hire chigora. Okay, those working in the organized sector are called formal workers. So formal sector nanglo le laga chingin zula formal workers lagor. Informal labing dikabla unorganized sector chichadi gore. Okay, now in this private enterprises which hire less than 10 workers. That the informal sector de karichadi gore gergi rowa private gi ranchi gore. Okay, so the now private enterprises here and dinzo nanglo le worker kazus hire chikitu less than 10 workers. Okay, besides farming and self-employment ventures labing kutuwa. So farming che as well as self-employment ki activities the ventures labing di kabla activities chadu gore. Okay, dinzo ya dinangole tsudu gore. Those working in unorganized sector are called as informal workers. That dinzo nangole laga chini workers dinzo la kari labgi tu informal workers. Okay, now we have to differentiate between these two. Number one, workers in the formal sector are entitled to social security benefits. Formal sector di shunga chichadi gudwa. The shungi lega chigi yuna dwa. Workers nzula kariyores na social security benefits pe mamboyore. Society nangla social lagorwa. Society nangla secure chaya benefits pe mamboyore. Say for example PF Provident Fund laga chigi chigi lani ani percentage khashis chiga sa che mao baradaya cha indi kabla matea ondi chagor Provident Fund gratuity laga chene and gyurimpu dogutwa gyurimpu doyundi kabla ane kunzugi karichigore sana a kind of reward taking gore rwa laga gyurimpu service gyurimpu la. Okay, so that is called as gratuity and pension ki facilities tinzo taking gore. That dinzo ka social security benefits tinzo rwa it is not given in informal sector now like zuyo mare. Okay, then while economic interest of the workers, informal sector is protected through various labor laws. There are hardly any protective laws for informal sector. The formal sector now la kariyosena labor koranso la protection te achidurwa ani timure. Okay, especially tanda lada economic interest of the worker loving to chagidwa lada tewa wage te gorwa. Okay, so dilatane wages latane ruwa and then mix it tanda formal sector na wala workers nuzula protection te achidu and tin sere, whereas such laws are not there in informal sector. Informal sector now le ani laws nzo ruwa yoma la kwarta other than minimum wages act. Ye kari yores na minimum wages act yore la ta kunzo la tego wa la teki kabla minimum la chik teya wa tila minimum wages act la wa ta di yore other than that shambake yomare. Okay, so formal sector now le workers ki economic interest la ta penjo the dewa chadu gorwa to protect chele laws frame chere, whereas informal sector now le yomare. Somebody to protect their economic interest, workers in the formal sector can form trade unions. No such unions exist in the informal sector. Tak la depende, say for example in the formal sector now la workers nzula la takachik ragimena. Okay, so kunzo ki kari che chogore na trade union lame wa group form che chogore kes wa group se ene susuki rights wa tinzo raya chidu ene fight ya la gorwa chitan group se ba mi yuti tichadi gorwa, whereas informal sector tangole tinzo riti yomare. Informal sector workers are highly vulnerable to uncertainties of market. They are hired when the market sentiments are good and are fired when there is economic slowdown. On direct. Informal sector now le lega chiyor wadanda lega de tempo yo mare. Vulnerable risks you go chati gore. Markets latagi tagi chene ruwa ane informal sector now le lega availability chingorwa ondi ane market latagi tagi chene chati gore. The detidwa se wasi kunzo higher chigore when market sentiments are good. Lagudwa dinangle. Okay, so market sentiments are good loving di kabla penetration dingela we have studied ruwa market now le say for example chikla ruwa price ya par chene or we can say market sentiments loving di kabla. I'll take the example of like this bullish and bearish layer nichigore. Okay, we have seen this before also. Bullish ina market nangole prices nzo ya phargi yuna. Say for example chala ki prices nzo ya phargi yuna. Obviously the production amount tango yo parwa ruwa kepsan raya chido. So tidi kabla khari chigo resena higher chigo re la kosh. Okay, and fired khadi chigidu when there is economic slowdown. The economic slowdown now le karicha gore demand nyunga cha okay and prices ma cha tidi komla production di chena choyo marwa and production chi mena production ma decrease chagi na dineshi workers nizo ya karicha gore fire chibor goyo marwa kunzola okay so this is indi kabla hire and fired lakuduwa di shukchumbu shuchi informal sector now le chadi gore okay so informal sector now lagaching workers so highly vulnerable da bingudwa risks tinsula risks yore wa to uncertainties of the market uncertainties labding because certain mego okay market now le yaga chungsigire market now do chungsigire so that it market sentiments good chagi yona tidikabla higher manga chigire market sentiments the bad chagi yona which means economic slowdown dino khari chungore demand less production less and kunzo fire chigore okay so lega tempo yo mare tha dinaula informal sector it is not a government sector okay so we can say formal sector the government ki sector chadi gore informal sector the private sector chadi gore okay now we have a concept called as informalization. What is the meaning of informalization? Okay now informalization labing dikabla informalization of workforce is defined as a situation where percentage of workforce in the formal sector tends to decline and that in the informal sector tends to rise. Clear chaswa? Informalization of workforce nanglo lerwa. Formal sector nanglo le workforce ki percentage siguro ti manyuru tu gore, whereas informal sector nanglo le maru tu go. So that shows wa lega chinge manga di sector kari nanglo le chadi gitu informal sector chadi gore. Is that clear? Casualization of workforce now what we have seen casualization of workforce now casual worker ki percentage di out of total workforce ne manga chegitwa increase chegitwa so that means casual workers di gaji number di mauru duwa informalization now le ani workers mangboji informal sector now le lagachia okay informal sector nanglole workforce ki number di ya increase chagi na then it is called as informalization of workforce okay now see here a table is given distribution of workforce in formal and informal sectors now as the economy grows more and more workers should become formal sector workers and the proportions of workers engaged in the informal sector should decrease. The economy yabu chegi na ani mi manga laga chinge yorwa di manga formal sector nangole laga chia. Okay, formal sector workers chaya. Di nangshin workers informal sector nangole manyungro dogoya. Okay, so this is shiksha go re la kwa if economy grow chegi na la kwa inaya however the situation in India is very discouraging lagidwa the India now the situation kan dis chungu yune jixia okay now there is a table see here this data is 2011 and 12 data distribution of workforce in formal and informal sector lagidwa category formal sector informal sector tedwa male female and total now see here formal sector now male 24 female 6 informal sector now male 306 137 female now we can easily see the difference wa informal sector now male the female niga gauge population de maru cha So the karisho chigore workforce chigorwa dinso informal sector di nangole dependence manga chadi dwa. So see here, formal versus informal dwa. Out of total 473 million workers in the country, 30 million workers are in the formal sector and remaining 443 millions are employed in informal sector. A huge rate informal sector now it means only 6% of people are employed in formal sector and the rest 94% are in informal sector. Male versus female latana informal sector now out of 30 million workers 24 millions, that is 80% the male workers chadigore and 6 million 20% women chadigore. And in informal sector now out of 443 million workers male workers the 306 million, that is 69%, and remaining 137 million, that is 31% the women chadigore. Okay, so realizing the importance of informal sector, what does it shows? It shows that the majority of the workforce are in informal sector. So they are getting employment in informal sector. Right? Now Delasida, realizing the importance of informal sector. Now due to failure of formal sector in generating employment, India started paying attention to enterprises and workers in the informal sector. The formal sector now employment opportunities generate chetrubli omare dilatene lega rago omare the formal sector nangole. Wa the India ki kharichia go tsuksha ane informal sector la tona de informal sector the kechembuchi himbati realized here. Wa kaisina mangche majority workforce the informal sector now lega chigidwa. The kharichia with the efforts of International Labour Organization, the Indian government has initiated the modernization of informal sector enterprises. That de la sopa chitwa ILO. Di sopa through ne ane Indian government ki kharichia thapi cheyos na informal sector di ta yagu modernized che and provision of social security measures to informal sector workers. And then actually majority population the informal sector now lega chia chigorwa and kunzulaya like formal sector workers la security social security benefits tigit wa kunzula ma provide chia or dinestic shungi cheerta. Now another rwa we can see here this table, this diagram, the workers in formal and informal sector data 1999-2000 chayung. Before we have seen the data of 2011 and 12. Now 1999-2000 it's very clear. See, informal sector male kazus yume and female kazus yume same. It is given here, right? Now see here what is given in this. We learned that there are about 400 million workers in the country. And there are about 28 million workers in the formal sector. Formal sector now 28 million chadi. So can you estimate the percentage of people employed in the formal sector in the country? The percentage now the kazus check about 7% labing gudwa dinole. Okay, so the list see here. Thus the rest 93% are in informal sector. Out of 28 million formal sector workers, only 4.8 million, that is only 17%, are women. In the informal sector, male workers account for 69% of the workforce. Okay, so this is the description of this chart. Now we have seen two charts, right? One is 1999, 2000, another one is 2011 and 12 chart. Okay? Rural and urban unemployment. Now in this we have to see rural unemployment, which has two categories: disguised unemployment, seasonal unemployment. Urban unemployment, industrial unemployment, educated unemployment. Okay, so let's see the meaning of all these concepts. What is this rural unemployment? Unemployment which is found in rural areas are called as rural unemployment. Okay, now disguised unemployment. Disguised unemployment occurs when the number of workers engaged in a job is much more than actually required to accomplish it. Disguised unemployment nol kari chungo resena lega chik chetu kabla wa minga ge digi yuna minga le manga lega dinang le participate chigi yuna, which is actually not required to accomplish it. There are disguised unemployment labor. As I said just now, lega chik minga gi digi yuna minga le manga rwa workers and di lega di chigi yuna rwa ta lega di dubya chidu minga gi digo ore. Kenswe ta mi shimpanzo not required goyo mare. Okay, so then this chikla disguised unemployment labor. If some of them are withdrawn from the job, total production will not fall. The minga gi lega di chidu kapla digi yuna output chikten to be yuna. The din nanglo le minga le manga employee chikidwa che yung du kapla minga de rangja shaje shemba nzo lagma tsama workers nzo ma withdraw chigi yuna total production kazus chigi yuna ma keba dugu marwa. It will not fall. Okay, so that is called as disguised unemployment chadigware. Is that clear? Okay. So very simple. If just 2 persons are required to cultivate a farm measuring 1 hectare, but actually 5 persons are engaged there, then 3 persons nzo karichagware disguisedly unemployed chadigware. Okay, 3 persons nzo ma pina production di ranja digire production di ma fall chegmata. Tadi Indian agriculture now leta shukchumbu shuji thoya yore ta disguised unemployment ti. And causes kharisha. On account of joint family system, farming families continues to work on family land. No matter the actual number of workers far exceeds the required number. On the joint family system hindi kabla mangcha farming families chadi gorwa rural areas now le. And konzogi family land ki kala laga chiborwa che hindi kabla and land di cultivate chele rwa required michigoyorwa and dile manga karichigore konzogi employee che and production chigore. Nibadi, per person holding size continues to shrink with the expansion of family size. Family chik nanglo la size di jachero duguyo na. That means mi mauro duguyo na. Rwa, and land holding size di chungru dugo rwa. Guess what? So implying greater possibility of disguised unemployment. and me mang ru size the land ki size the nyong drawing di kabla obviously la ka di kala cha di gi wa land holding ki kala cha di ko re and land holding di kala la ka chingi mi manga cha di ko re. Okay, lack of job opportunities outside agriculture compels the people to go on a family farms on di chi ya kang chi che di ko re. Okay, niba di seasonal unemployment very simple. Agriculture seasonal occupation chikcha di gore off season ki kabla farm workers nzula la ra go mare rwa ani seasonal unemployment chigyor wa di conditions che methods of cultivation ki kala depend cha di gore seasonal unemployment khazus chagi me volume lagidwa the condition che methods of cultivation ki kala depend cha di gore any thing di kabla farmers nzu ke one crop grow chi ki dwa logic now le a konso usually remain unemployed for 5 to 7 months cha di gore rural areas now le beside agriculture there are many seasonal activities sugarcane crushing brick kilns etc saba suya dilala gorwa workers engaged in these activities remain occupied for few months in a year lo khansa di la di che di go marwa kunzo ke only few months chi the cha go re wa and rest of the period di kunzo unemployed cha di go re. Okay, so this is rural unemployment. Urban unemployment na lo le ta kari chungi yume we have two wa industrial unemployment che as well as educated unemployment cha di gudwa. Now in this we will see first industrial unemployment kari yume. Now in those we can say here, see, illiterate persons who are willing to work in industry, mining, transportation, trade and construction activities, etc. That in all illiterate person chati gidwa industries nangole willing to work. Dinangshi tensu nangole willing to work yungi. Ditsu gudwa industrial unemployment nangole. That industrial unemployment chungoya causes rapid rise in population over time. Rise in population leads to a rise in the supply of labor. Dirwa population ya pargi yuna ane labor supply there increase chagirwa marutuwa. Concentration of industry in the urban areas. Industry among urban areas nalogyabiore. So there is a growing tendency among rural people to migrate to urban areas in search for jobs. The rural people migrate to urban areas la jobs. But the industrial expansion has not been so significant as to offer gainful employment to all the migrants. The rural areas, the migration mambuji cheung du kabla ruba urban areas now yosheju industries nzo expand di shisule migration shisule chetubyo mare la kor. So dilatene ruwa ani migrants nzo la employment gainful lagidwa la yuko employment chik offer chetu kiyo mare. Okay, mangde mangthane ruwa migrants nzo mangde mangthane chade kwar. So dilatene industrial unemployment di occur chikore. Okay, so industrial unemployment occurs as a spillover lana consequences of rural unemployment. Okay, rural unemployment cha yung di kabla migrate chigidwa a migrate che yung di kabla as I said migration mangtha ani industrial expansion di shisule macha wa che en kunzala lega gainful employment chik rathup ki medwa. Industries in India are relying more on labor saving western technology. Industry in India nanglole depend mga kharichi na labor nyunga pheche tangya che and technology mga ta technology pheche tangyu na obviously labor absorption capacity di nyunga chegirwa even if industries to expand chadi na industry mangboji expand chadi na rwa kesi industries tinsu nangla technology pheche tangya di shukchia chagi na and labor absorption capacity di nyunga chagwa dilatene ya industrial unemployment chinya chayungwa then very simple educated unemployment rwa now this is the kangachishi chicha digortha okay and dilatene and society now like peace harmony lagdwa le kakushu chadi gore okay harmony loving du kabla patsu ideas agree feelings agree chaji orwa tinsuriti ta kakuchi chadi gore okay now factors karilatene an educated unemployment chagiyume on account of expansion of educational institutions like university, colleges, schools, number of educated persons has substantially increased. Educational institution maurudoyo rela gwash. Universities, colleges, school, tenzuri de mangbocha de rela. But educated person yorwa number of educated person has substantially increased. So obviously educational institutions expand chaguyuna tishisula educated media mga chayungorwa. Education system in India is not job oriented. India now education chikte yungudwati leka raya chedu marela kor. It is largely degree oriented. Degree raya chikpo chedu chadi kor rela kor. Education system din nanglo le job chedu kunzula prepare chipo marela kor. So din indi kablata degree radu korwa. Degree holders often fail to find jobs. Degree yorta lega rako marta. Digi kange te kor. Okay. So that means education system fail chadi yore dela. Okay. Education system nangla midunzula job chedu prepare chetu byo marela korta. Increase in employment opportunities has significantly lagged behind the increase in the size of educated labor force. The number of educated unemployed registered with employment exchanges has tended to swell. That under the legidua employment opportunities. The educated labor force ki size tini comparison chena educated labor force di mga chadi gore then employment opportunities re. Okay, and dilatene the educated unemployed mangbuchik pladi gore. Rwa educated people nzo unemployed chanidi gore. And the employment exchanges labing budwa. Employment exchanges nanglole. Chitan di karicha di goresana lega kawala ragi yume tenzo ki information lensagi source chik lensagi saja chik chadi gore. That din nanglole obviously rwa karichung yore and unemployed educated chiyorwa digi number di swell cha yore. Ta mauro chadi gore la gosh.